People love the former president, and I'm sure that they would pay out of their own pockets in order to ensure that he has the proper defense.
After elections or prior to the elections.
Why not? That's his country.
What would be the
legal... where he was
legal...
born. Why should he not go back?
So...
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's being illegally detained here, and he should go back to the Philippines as soon as possible.
Yes, sir. You were... Okay.
Yes,
you were saying, sir?
Good afternoon, Philippines. I hope to have some announcements today regarding the composition of the defense team. Obviously, everything that I do is subject to approval by Her Excellency, the Vice President. She has a very important role in this case. She herself is a lawyer. She fully understands the state of the game here in The Hague. And obviously, I'm consulting her on everything that I do.
So who will be forming the defense team?
I'm afraid you're going to have to wait and find out.
But it's within the day.
Announce it.
Lots of suspense, but be patient.
VP said that she will not announce, only the head of the legal team, but not to preserve the privacy of the rest of the team.
That might be the case, but whatever I do is always subject to the approval of my client.
All right. But just to clarify, that it's within the day. We expect this within the day.
I expect it by the end of the week that we'll have some names, yes.
All right.
But will there be Filipinos?
I'm always working with Filipinos, and I anticipate that there will be Filipinos in due course as well. I'm here to constitute primarily the international side of the team, former President Duterte.
So are we tapping the services also of the Office of the Legal Counsel?
No, there's no need for that.
No need, so it's...
No, I mean, even if this was a legally aided case or a privately funded case, there's no need for the OPCD. I think that's the unit that you're referring to.
That's right.
They're a very important unit at this court, but they provide logistic assistance, administrative assistance, but they don't provide substantive assistance to any team at the court, whether it be legally aided or privately funded.
Okay, so that will be limited to 3 counsels only, and then a case manager and investigator?
That depends on what type of case and what type of funding we're using at the end of the day. What I can say that there are many, many supporters who I'm sure would gladly give out of their own pockets to ensure that the former president will return to the Philippines as soon as possible.
The Vice President was saying a while ago that they will do all means to be able to bring the president back to the Philippines after elections or prior to the elections.
Why not? That's his country.
What would be the
legal... where he was
legal...
born. Why should he not go back?
So...
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's being illegally detained here, and he should go back to the Philippines as soon as possible.
So that will be a route to be able to bring him back? You will be filing petitions or appeals to bring him back to the Philippines
I think
prior
you're trying to
the
draw me on the chronology on when I'm intending on introducing an application for interim release. Interim release is par for the course at this institution. In nearly every case, an application for interim release is submitted. I'll file it when I feel it appropriate.
When you said that supporters are willing also to help out of their pockets, did people reach out to you also about it?
I was making a general observation.
Okay. All right.
But nobody has committed yet.
You're trying to draw me once again. No.
How was...
love the former president, and I'm sure that they would pay out of their own pockets in order to ensure that he has the proper defense.
Is this the first time you've encountered the president also? This particular case only?
In this particular case, this is the first time, but I'm experienced here at the ICC, and I'm frequently asked to help people who are brought before this institution.
All right. How was he yesterday?
He's in good spirits. I've told you that right from the start.
Sir,
So,
we are
but he's
OFW versus Filipino working. Can we do crowdfunding?
I'm not going to comment on funding.
Yeah, nothing.
All right.
Sir, you mentioned that as far as you're concerned, the former president is legally detained. So that's your...
Illegally detained, not legally detained.
Illegally, yeah.
Yes.
So you and the president were already able to tackle, more details about the case yesterday. I assume...
Well, in the first few days, I'm helping the former president with his humanitarian needs and concerns. I'm helping him settle in here, because things at the International Criminal Court do take some time, unfortunately. I wish it was speedier than it was, but it isn't. And so at the present moment in time, I'm concentrating on that aspect, helping him settle in.
Oh, okay. But not the aspects of the case itself.
I'm not going
yet.
to even go into the substantive.
Yeah. No, without saying.
And certainly not with you guys.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Sir. Yeah, sorry.
Our apologies.
Sorry.
Yeah, not you.
Yeah, but Yesterday you mentioned that you will be discussing the nature of the case
Yes,
to the,
when you
to
said
the
that.
president. So
Absolutely.
you've already discussed it initially.
Touched on the general parameters of the case. But as I
General.
told you, I'm not going to disclose the
Yes,
strategy
yes, we understand.
or exactly what goes on between attorney and client.
But your client is also a lawyer and a prosecutor before, so
I'm an
in
extremely good prosecutor as well. Perhaps you can teach these court how to prosecute a few cases.
How did he respond to the discussion of the nature of the case?
I'm not going to answer. Again, they're trying to draw me on attorney-client privilege. Why should I tell you that?
Right.
That is our responsibility then. I'm just
Are you going to publish it? That's the question.
Yeah, you have a pretty long visit every time, like around 2 hours.
Why
So
not? That's my
How-
duty.
but
That's
yeah.
my
as a
obligation.
counsel, right?
How
Yeah.
I'm a
long does it
responsible
usually
lawyer. I
take?
want to see my client as much as I can.
All right.
The vice president also mentioned a while ago that she will be meeting with the co-counsel.
Another one.
Once again, the vice president makes her own comments. Everything that I do is subject to communication with and approval of my client and his daughter.
Okay.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you very much. sir.
Thank you, sir.
another question, okay.
Ngayon po ay araw ng Webes at kaya po tayo po ay nagbabalik sa isa na namang episode ng The Spokes Hour. Wala po ako ngayon sa Hague dahil ang utos na ating Vice President at tupagin ko muna yung aking asylum. Pero lilinawin ko lang po ha, ako po ngayon ay isang asylum seeker dahil na naka-apply na po ako for asylum. Ang inaantay ko lang po ay yung kauna-unahang interview na ito po'y kabahagi na ng application process. Pagkatapos po nitong kauna-unahang interview, malaya na po akong makabalik doon sa The Hague kasi ang layo po nitong lugar nito. Hindi naman po kami nakadetena, no? In fact po pwedeng lumabas at ako'y naggaling na ako sa grocery, kaya lang yung grocery, 30 minutes walk one way. At saka yung biyahe papunta rito, kung nasaan ako, 4 na oras galing sa The Hague. Kung magte-trend ka, 4.5 oras. So parang hindi ka nga nakadetena, wala ka naman mapuntahan. Meron pa kasing ang dami ang stages na ginagawa rito. Yung initial registration, yung fingerprinting and interview sa police, tapos medical, at saka yung first interview. Tapos sa first interview, pwede ka nang umalis at te-text ka na lang nila kung saan yung final interview mo at hindi na dito sa malayong lugar. Yung mga walang pera, ilalagay sila sa ibang facility, no? Pero hindi na po rito kasi ito talaga is only for the application stage. Pero ngayon po, dahil ako'y aplikante na, meron na akong non-refuma, karapatan sa non-refuma. Ibig sabihin, hindi na ako po pwedeng mapabalik dun sa bansa na aking inalisan dahil sa aking political persecution at yan po ay bansang Pilipinas. Alam niyo po, bukod sa sinabi ni BP Sara na kailangan ayusin ko muna ito para makakonsentrate na rin ako dun sa pagdepensa ng presidente, pero hindi pa po sigurado, nakasama ko ha, lilinawin ko lang po yan. Sabi lang yan, sige ayusin mo yung asylum mo. No? Yung mere fact na nag-apply ako, yan yung nagbigay sa akin ng karapatan na hindi na ako po pwedeng mapabalik sa Pilipinas. Maski pa kumuha sila ng warrant of arrest, maski pa sila mag-file ng extradition, malinaw po yan dahil ito po ay matter of convention rights. Nakasulat po talaga yung non-refuma, yan yung pinaka-importanting karapatan ng asylum seekers, hindi mapabalik dun sa lugar na kung sa nila nanggaling. Natural, kasi pag ako pinabalik dyan, kukulong ako non-bailable sa isang kaso na human trafficking na walang ka-ebidensya. Ulitin ko po ebidensya lang nila. Unang-una, sinamahan ko si Cassandra Ong sa PAGCOR. Pangalawa, yung pangalan ko nasa isang papel na legal daw ako. Pangatlo, yung aking dating assistant nakitira doon. Ang kailangan nilang pruwebahan sa syndicated trafficking na ako ay may recruit. Ang purpose ko ay para pagsamantalahan ng kanilang labor. No? At pangatlo, ginamit ko ng pananakot o kaya naman intimidation. No? Tapos kung conspiracy naman, ano?
Kasi po, yesterday when we interviewed si Attorney Kaufman, may sinasabi po siya na we need Filipinos to assist or be part of the defense team. Kasi ma'am, di ba 5 lang po yung nasa list of councils ng accredited councils ng ICC. Yung 2 sa EJK victims na raw po yun. Tapos si Attorney Roque yung isa, tapos may 2. So, is it possible na si Attorney Roque ay makabalik po bilang part ng defense team?
Pag-uusapan pa namin, no, kasama si Attorney Harry Roque, pag-uusapan namin yung composition ng legal team ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
Pero may posibilidad kasi may sinasabi po si Attorney Roque na and we also research na part of the rights of a political asylum seeker is that hindi necessarily confirmed yung asylum application, kundi once na ma-receive, hindi na po siya pwedeng deport or yung same rights.
Hindi ko kasi alam
Okay.
ang batas ng the Netherlands, no, sa asylum. Pero yung legal team ay pag-uusapan pa namin. Hindi pa siya buo hanggang ngayon. Mamayang gabi merong darating na isang lawyer. Magbi-meeting din kami nung lawyer na yon. Kakausapin ko pa siya.
Pero may possibility rin po ba na kukuha na lang kayo ng outsider na hindi kasama dun sa list of accredited and then you'll just have it accredited?
Hindi ko pa ma-discuss yung strategy, no, sa mga lawyers. It is best siguro na tanungin natin si Attorney Kaufman. Meron naman siyang schedule dito ngayon kung ano yung mga paraan para mabuo yung legal defense team.
Attorney Kaufman said that he is very confident that the president will be acquitted. What are your thoughts, ma'am? Kayo po.
Nagbibigay kumpiyansa siya na ganito yung declarations ng abogado, no.
May sinabi po kasi kayo, ma'am, kanina na kung sakaling pumalpak si Attorney Kaufman, kayo po ang sasagot, kayo ang mananagot.
Yes, oo. Kasi tinatanong ako kanina kung paano siya napili at sinabi ko ako yung pumili sa kanya. Ako yung nagsabi kay Pangulong Duterte na pagdating niya dito sa The Hague, yan yung pangalan na ibibigay niya na counsel niya, lawyer niya. At syempre, lahat ng mga supporters ay parang kumbaga ako yung naiintindihan ko na ako yung bibigyan nila ng parang accountability and responsibility sa pagpili. So kung pumalpak man yun, ako din yung mananagot sa taong bayan.
But he has previous records na may naipanalo na rin po siya sa ICC. That's why, yun po ba isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit po niyo pinili siya?
Maganda yung kanyang track record. Maayos siya kausap. Sobrang talino niya at napakalawak ng kaalaman niya sa batas. Hindi lang sa ICC, but sa iba pang mga lugar. At yes.
Ma'am, syempre malapit na po yung eleksyon. And marami pong taga-suporta yung inyo pong ama. If in case he wins as the mayor, paano po kaya yun? Are you confident that you'll be able to bring him back prior to the elections or after the elections? Paano kung manalo po siya?
Well, as a resident of Davao City, gusto ko talaga i-demand na, kasi boboto ko sa kanya, and paniwala ko naman mananalo talaga siya kasi base sa mga surveys namin, napakalayo niya doon sa kalaban niya, no. As a resident of Davao City and as a voter of Mayor Rodrigo Duterte, gusto ko din talaga i-demand na nandun yung mayor namin, nagtatrabaho para sa syudad.
How will you be able to do that, ma'am, now that he is still detained here?
Well, that is something that we have to discuss as Davaoenos, no?
Yes.
Kung paano na maibalik namin yung mayor namin doon sa Davao City.
Ma'am, sorry, can you just enlighten us? Kasi meron po siyang case dito. Bakit ang binanggit niyo po, you will discuss as Davaoenos when in fact he is facing charges here? Ibig sabihin po ba, magpa-file na kayo ng interim release? Will this be part of the legal strategy?
Hindi ito kaparte ng legal strategy.
Okay.
Ano lang ito, sentiments namin, nabuboto sa kanya. And as I said, paniwala ko naman na mananalo talaga siya as mayor. So, parang, syempre ikaw, diba? kung sino yung binoto mo, yun yung gusto mong nakikita na nagtatrabaho para sa syudad. So, binoto namin siya. Gusto namin na mayor siya doon sa...
So, ibig sabihin, ma'am, pwedeng i-demand yun kapag nanalo kahit meron pa siyang case dito?
Well, we do not know, no? Kasi ang mensahe kanina, in relation to that, napaka-appropriate ng mensahe kanina ni Pangulong Duterte.
Ano
No?
po yung sinabi
Sabi niya, no guts, no glory. Ganyan ang buhay. So, ibig sabihin, kung hindi kami mag-isip, mga Dabawenyo, kung paano namin madala yung mayor namin doon, wala talagang mangyayari. So, dapat we exhaust all means possible. Whether it is written in law or it is not written in law, except anything illegal, huwag natin gawin yon, na maibalik yung dating Pangulo, yung magiging mayor ng Davao City.
Is revolution a part of it?
Sabi ko nga, nothing illegal, no?
Revolution is not
wala namang
illegal.
Walang nakalagay sa batas na pwede mag-revolution.
But there are peaceful revolutions, ma'am.
Meron, and it starts in quiet places as well.
So, posible yun?
Hindi ko alam, ma'am, hindi yan yung iniisip ko. Ang iniisip ko lang ngayon na boboto kami ng mayor namin at gusto namin nakikita namin yung mayor namin doon sa syudad ng Davao. Wala akong basihan legally kung paano namin mapabalik yung aming mayor. Pero yan yung sentiment.
But you will, legally magpa-file din po kayo ng mga hakbang para maibalik na siya prior to the confirmation of charges hearing on September 23.
And as I said kanina, sabi ko, pag-uusapan namin yan ng mga Dabawenyos. No? Anong pwede namin gawin? Kasi we cannot stand around and shuffle our feet doing nothing while he is there. And at the same time, he is elected as mayor of Davao City. So,
Off the bat, is there? Can you at least give us some of the possibilities that he can do?
well, revolution is out of the question.
Okay.
Kasi kahit naman mag-revolution kami, hindi rin naman namin siya malalabas dyan. Diba? So, wala na yan siya sa siguro options.
Ano, mami, yung mga possibilities? If you may. If you may lang po. If you may.
As I said, oo, kailangan namin pag-usapan. I think the city council needs to sit down with the city mayor and consult the people, the stakeholders, the voters, everyone, what we can do and what shall we do.
Pero anyway, doon sa press briefing ni VP, nabanggit niya na napag-usapan ng kanyang mga kapatid na baka kumuha lang na lang sila ng legal aid. Yung legal aid po, ibig sabihin, ang hukuman mismo magbabayad para sa mga abogado na didepensa sa kanya. Pero limitado po ang budget. Nung ako po'y aktibo pa sa bar ng ICC, yan po ay 40,000 euros. Parang naitaas na po yan ng konti. No? Pero yung 40,000 euros na yan, ang babayaran, isang lead counsel, isang co-counsel, isang legal assistant, isang case manager, at isang investigator. So makita nyo, manipis talaga. Kaya naman ako, kahit ano mangyari sa aking application, kung talagang dahil manipis at 5 lang yan, hindi ko naman kasasama ng loob na kung hindi ako mapasama dyan sa team, no? Dahil 5 nga lang po yan. In fact, effectively, 2 lang yan. Kasi yung legal assistant at saka yung case manager, mga batang-batang abogado po yan. So 2 abogado lang talaga ang harap sa hukuman, yung lead at saka yung co, tapos investigator. So okay lang po kung anong desisyon ni VP Sara at ni PRRD. Kaya lang, syempre, iniisip ko na dahil ang issue nga ay issue kung tama ba yung pag-aaresto kay Presidente Duterte, kinakailangan din may Pilipino dyan. Hindi naman ako kinakailangan yung maging abogado yon. Bahala po pumili ang Presidente Duterte. Pero ako po miski ako'y piliin ni Presidente Duterte, kung ayaw ni VP Sara at ang gusto ni VP Sara mas ibang mag-represent, ma'am, that's your call. Hindi ko naman pagpipilitan ng sarili ko, at kung ako ay i-request ni PRRD, importante rin na i-endorso ko at i-request din ako ni VP Sara. Kasi nga, alam niyo naman ang kwento ng buhay ko, no? Talaga namang ako'y tagasunod ni VP Sara, susunod ako sa sasabihin ni VP Sara. At yan po ay walang halong kaplastikan. That's true. Kita nyo nga, sumunod ako sa kanya sa Uniteam. Ano nangyari? So susunod ako kung ano ang sasabihin niya sa akin. Bagamat, nung nag-usap kami, sabi ko, kasi minsan nakatakot ako sa iyo kaya minsan may mga gusto kang gawin na sa tingin ko, hindi ko sang-ayon, hindi ako makapagsalita, no? Hindi ko sasabihin ko ano yan. Pero may dalawang bagay na ngayon lang nangyari na sumunod ako sa kanya, pero alam ko na hindi dapat, no? So, syempre, dahil ganyan naman ang aking pagsunod kay BP Sara, kung sabihin niya na dahil ko kaunti ang mga abogado at mas gusto niyang lahat dayuhan, ay nako, I will bow to it, no? At intindihin na lang natin, no, na hindi lang naman si PRRD talagang dapat magdesisyon, kundi si BP Sara din, no? Dahil siya naman ay anak na abogada rin. So, yun lang po ang makukuha sa legal aid. Lead counsel, co-counsel, legal assistant na bata rin, case manager na bata din, at investigator. Now, pwede humingi ng additional, pero yung mga more complicated cases, usually ang dinadagdag lang, additional investigators. So pagdating sa legal, dalawa lang talaga, yung si lead counsel at si co-counsel. So hayaan po natin silang mag-desisyon, no? Although nagpapasalamat po ako doon sa napakadaming nagbibigay ng suporta sa akin, maraming na-disappoint. Well, mali po ako doon in the sense na inassume ko na maging abogado na talaga ako sa ICC. Pero abogado po talaga ako ni Presidente Duterte pagdating sa ICC matters, 2018 pa po. So hindi po ako nagsinungaling. Hindi po ako nagsinungaling, talagang abogado na ako ni Presidente Duterte on ICC matters mula pa po ng 2018. Ang problema po, yung mga ibang supporters ni PRRD, binaliwala lahat ng sinabi ko dahil sabi nila, imposibleng mangyari yan na makakarating si PRRD sa ICC. So lahat po ng mga nagsabing imposible yan, alam po nila kung sino sila at sila naman po yung napakalapit kay Presidente. Need I say it? Pero I told you so. So anyway, yun lang pong makukuha sa legal aid. Now, hindi rin po automatic yan, ha? Mag-iimbestiga pa ang ICC at titignan nila yung kita ni Presidente. Wala naman siyang kita, pension lang. Sabi ko nga, ang pension yan, mga 300,000 at most. In euro terms, times 7 ata ang euro, magkano lang yan. So that's basically, sabihin na natin ay 5,000, no? 5,000, o tama, 5,000 euros a month. Alam mo naman si Presidente, no? Yung kanyang pension, hahatiin pa niya sa dalawa. Alam niyo naman, sinasabi niya, dalawa yung asawa niya. Tapos, kung ano yung ari-arian. Ako po, I can swear, kailan ko lang po nakita ang bahay ni Presidente Duterte sa Davao. Na-guilty ako dahil di hamak na mas maganda ang bahay ko kaysa sa bahay ni Presidente Duterte. Mayor, wag ka magagalit, pero ang description ko sa bahay niya, bahay ng kalapati. Kasi yung kwarto niya, nasa second floor, meron lang revolving stairways na napakakitid, pero memoryado na niya yun. So miski bahina na ang kanyang paglalakad ngayon, miski nakapikit, kaya niya umakyat doon dahil buong buhay niya doon siya tumira. At matapos nga yan, kinausap ko yung kasama niya ng kaalaga sa kanya, bakit naman hinahayaan ng pamilya ni Presidente na tumira sa ganito ang dating Presidente? Talagang sinabi ko yun. Ang sagot, meron ng isang tycoon na bumisita sa kanya. Ang bilin sa kanya, bumili ka ng kahit anong bahay, akong magbabayad. Ayaw talagang umalis ni Presidente Duterte sa kanyang pamamahay. At lalo pa akong napahanga sa pagkatao ni Presidente Duterte dahil dun nga siya na pinili niya na talagang manirahan sa tinatawag kong pigeon house. Kasi mukha talaga siyang pigeon house. Yung second floor niya, kwarto lang niya. Hindi siya yung buong second floor. Doon lang siya. Yun lang yung ano niya, yung kanyang kwarto. Kaya tawag ko pigeon house. At saka isang galaw mo lang tapos na yung bahay. Siguro wala pang 175 square meters yung floor area ng bahay na yun. Para po talaga siyang socialized housing. And hindi ako mapaniwala na doon nakatira ngayon ang dating presidente ng Pilipinas. So anyway, ang punto is mag-iimbestiga ang ICC kung talagang ang pensyon niya ay 5,000 euros, ilan ang sinusuportahan niya, at saka kung meron pa siyang ibang ari-arian. Ang alam ko po, ang mga ari-arian lang niya talaga, at pinag-uusapan naman na po namin yan, ay yung mga ari-ariang namana niya. Okay? Sa kanyang tatay. Yung tatay po niya, I'm sure, meron din kaya, pero yun yung sa mga nakalipas na panahon na, no? Dahil naging governor naman yung tatay niya. Pero napag-uusapan din naman namin yung kanyang, kumbaga, ari-arian, hindi po yan masyadong marami. At saka alam nyo naman sa Mindanao, ang valor ng mga property hindi mataas. So anyway, ibig sabihin, hindi pa po automatic yan. Ngayon, sa kasaysayan ng ICC, isa lang naman po yung paying client dyan. Kasi napakamahal kung kukuha ka ng counsel dito. Dahil alam niyo naman, per oras niya mga yan, baka tumataginting na 400 euros yan. Kung kukuha ka ng isang lawyer na 400 euros per hour, babiyahe-biyahe pa yan papunta ng Pilipinas para kumuha ng ebidensya sa flight alone, lugi ka na dahil 12 hours na yun. $4,000 na ang biyahe pa lang one way. $28,000 round trip. So talagang mahal po ng legal representation. Kaya naman kinukonsider ng pamilya yung legal aid. Pero yan naman po, initial lang naman nila at I would not have said so kung hindi naman sinabi yan ni VP Sara. No? Pero hindi pa po yan confirmed dahil kahit paano naman, marami naman nagmamahal kay Presidente Duterte, baka naman merong gustong tumulong. Kasi syempre, kung effectively, dalawa lang yung abogado na magtatrabaho at iba naman, mga batang abogado, syempre mas mabuti kung mas marami pang makakatulong. Pero ako, happy na ako sa legal aid. Even if baka hindi nga talaga ako mapili dahil kakaunti lang yung tao, dahil that will prove to the world na talagang hindi nagpa-yaman si Presidente Duterte. No? Bagamat I'm sure yung mga supporters niya ng mga mayayaman ay magsasabi wala kaming pakailan. Kung may isang tycoon na sinabi dun sa kasama niya na wala akong pakailan kung ganong kamahal ng bahayan na magustuhan niya, babayaran ko, I'm sure marami rin siyang mga supporters na willing magbigay ng pera at wala pong pagbabawal dahil wala na sa gobyerno ang ating Presidente Duterte, di ba? Siya naman ay pribadong individual at hindi bawal na mag-donate sa kanya, di ba?